And welcome to Planet Raygun Shadow of a Ghost, episode number 9. When last we saw our crew, they were standing beside the burrowed, Raygun burrowed body of Chunga Tort, which had been thrown off of the top. Presumably, it's not splattered in pieces. I don't need to get into all the gruesome details. So maybe it rolled off the side of this giant curved sphere. Whatever the case is, Trunca Tort is also pretty well built to handle such a fall. But a ray gun blast through the torso, not something that Trunca Tort was at all prepared for. Um, you also essentially discovered that Stug Cabello has sort of been knowing of everything that's going on, maybe planning ahead, and maybe all of this is part of his ultimate plan. Was he just setting up Trunga Tort with this whole scenario in order to kill him? I don't know. Interesting. But you have the Helio Shroud, which is what you care about. Stud Cabello wants it back, of course, and that is what it is. But we've got two obstacles to get through. The first obstacle is to get out of the crime palace. The gates have closed, and the crime syndicate has been notified that there are heisters trying to steal from the king of stealing. So you'll need to get through that. That's a complexity. Two is to just get out of the crime palace and get in back to the perimeter of Craterion City, and then you will need to get out of the crater itself. um, we have three crew members today. And so Leland, we're still not sure where Leland is. Leland has disappeared since you entered the facility, but Hijack has been with us, and we are going to set up in this case. You all can decide if you want to do this for this obstacle or the next obstacle, but we'll have Hijack give himself up. There's a move in Planet Raygun called Give Yourself Up. During the get out or get away phases of the heist, a character may give themselves up. This boosts the result of any individual or group move by one level, but it results in the given up character being imprisoned. And then that crew member's kit will also not be available for the rest of the heist. Sort of a drawback there. And then in a future heist, you will be able to break Hijack out of jail. And we will go through that once that is a thing. But we'll kind of narrate how we envision Hijack giving himself up at some point in the heist. Um, with that, crew, we are standing in the courtyard that goes to this lift that goes all the way up to Stug Cabello's suite, and you are standing beside the body of Trungatort, and we have just heard Stug Cabello sick the hounds, i.e., Crime Syndicate and the Morning Horde and whatever other gangs are operating within Craterion City on the 4/5 of you. What are you thinking here? Do you want to push forward with a plan? Do you feel like you need to poke around for additional assets?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough stuff. I think we're running low.
But we do get that boost from turning Hijack over.
We
So we
have
might have just enough stuff to eke it out.
we have three assets. Looks like.
All right, let's go through what we have on camera so that everyone's, in this together. We still have the lightning storm. We've got the bonus pinkies. We've got the funicular. We have Gerald the vulture. Leland has a ray gun, a holographic decoy. Fix, you have civilian clothes, and Acceleroid Plus.
Hmm.
That's
And
everything.
we can establish perhaps that Leland has passed off his kit to Trip or one of the rest of you in the process of disappearing. So you you do have that ray gun and that holographic decoy in your possession.
I
Close
can
range ray gun.
I can imagine him like awkwardly like before we crossed paths, him like uh passing me a bundle, being like, keep an eye on this for me while I'm gone. I'll be back for it.
That's a really good Leland impression.
That is
Thank you.
good.
I
Um,
employed the impression to get the stuff.
Okay.
so yeah, we've got one, two, three, four, five. Oh God, the way that I was counting this is completely wrong. I'm just gonna go by the number at the top nine. Potentially eight because Acceleroid Plus is kind of like its own weird mechanic that doesn't work with this. So yeah, more like eight.
Hmm.
Okay.
Maybe that's actually seven because there's this mysterious blacked out one.
That's because that's Acceleroid doesn't have its own space because it's a weird thing, but it does
Oh,
take
okay.
up a gear spot. So rather than leave the empty one there distracting everyone, I
We've
just
got seven assets for two complexity, two obstacles.
plenty.
Okay, we should be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I know at one point we had been talking about maybe sneaking past all of these guards by passing ourselves off as Trip's entourage and riding in the funicular.
Yeah.
We could also add to that, Fix could get into fancy civilian clothes to look more like an attendant, something a little more spiffed up in black tie. Or if we really wanted to lean into the civilian stuff, the stupider idea that I had was what if it's a birthday boy outfit? Because I'm like, you can't try and waylay me. It's my birthday. So just a ridiculous blinking crown, perhaps some sort of video screen shirt that has a parade of marching animals all celebrating a birthday that's just in a perpetual circle around his middle. Just throwing it out there.
That's a
Nobody
cool
can mess
shirt.
with you on your birthday. Even if a gang war is going on, you're like, come on, not the birthday boy. Leave them out of it. It's their
Is the
special
idea
day.
that Fix is going to wear that, or is the idea that we're going to make Trip wear that?
I like the idea of putting it on Trip.
Because that'll be a fight.
It would be a fight for sure.
Hmm.
Um, because I was thinking, it doesn't work though. I don't have a bond die with Fix. I would use Pomp and Awe if I had a bond die with Fix. Because then I could bluff my way through and be like, you think I'm important.
Mm.
This is the Duke of the Universe.
Duke.
For what it's worth, in the plan here, like you can narrate that, like that is perfectly
Could
acceptable if that's
could
part
still
of
be
your
the
plan.
play.
Yeah, Pomp and Awe is like yeah, specifically for the like investigation interplay portions, but for this like we're kind of taking that like zoom out and doing the big montage scene. You can certainly do that. Um, is there any asset that like helps this story? Um,
What if we use the lightning storm? What if you say, this is the Duke of the universe, and that's when the lightning strikes to make it even more, powerful? Like, da da da. I'm thinking, like, in Young Frankenstein, whenever they say Frau Blücher, the horse's neigh, but not to do with glue. Anything, you know what I mean? Just it's the effect, lightning effect.
so is the
Would the
idea here, even though you've kind of been outed by Stugabeo, presumably the gangs wouldn't be able to visually recognize you yet,
That's
and
the plan.
so you're claiming to be some kind of like VIP that is a group of VIPs that's trying to leave whatever party was going on in Stug's suite.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think, a disguise element going on here that we have to somehow alter our appearance to give ourselves sort of this glamour disguise
Would the
of
graphic decoys work for that? Like, I imagine they're meant to be like, look at that guy over there, but perhaps they could be refitted to like put a holographic disguise on.
If you want to establish that, then that becomes canon.
Now, we have to remember that the holographic decoys work by
That's
there's a
right.
smoke bomb with them
There is a
because we've
smoke bomb that
established
comes
that.
with it.
Oh,
Speaking of
right.
things that have been established as canon,
That one works super well then.
I mean, it could be a smoke bomb over your face, but then that's just something we have to keep in mind.
I'm
it could just be that
concerned.
hmm,
Oh, sorry. I'm
no, please.
concerned that Jane Doe 2.0 will not be able to pass herself off as a fancy civilian because she looks kind of like a giant bat right now.
Yeah.
Um, but what I could do is I could take Leland's ray gun, fly up into the air, and start shooting around wildly as a distraction while Fix and Trip do the civilian uh escape plan. And then I can just fly away and meet up with them.
So they may lose track of us, but they'll definitely know where you are.
But they're going to know where I am anyway.
Yeah.
Some other narrative context that as we were talking about you allegedly being guests to a party in the suite who are now trying to escape, is remember what happened to the rest of the guests in the suite.
True.
They were all propelled out of it by a cyclone. So it's been raining bodies, or there was a drizzle of bodies not 5 minutes ago within the crime palace. So that might be something to leverage here in your story too.
I can
Um,
look like a doctor. We could be trying to carry these people to get them help.
Yeah. Okay. So instead of Fix being the Duke of the Universe, make way, the body of the Duke of the Universe.
Yeah. Pick any body that we pick up off the ground.
you got Trunga Tort's body right next to you.
Mm.
Well, Trunga's kind of on the outs politically and
Yeah.
very
That's
recognizable.
fair. Yes.
Yeah. Kind of think an anonymous body might work better. Um, I like that idea. I also like the idea of, sure, the holographic decoy may release a burst of smoke originally, but if we slip it into the pocket of a body that we've put on top of a stretcher, they could be passing for somebody else.
Mm.
What if we make it look like Stug Cabello? Nobody's going to mess with Stug.
Oh,
Oh.
ho. Bold play.
I mean, I like it.
Hmm.
It's just foolhardy and dangerous enough to work.
All right.
So
So we
that's
have holographic decoy used so far,
mhm,
at least in this version of the plan.
right. Are we also taking this fake stug onto the funicular
Yeah, I think
and turning it into a makeshift ambulance?
brilliant. I like the idea this funicular just goes anywhere.
You're like, wait, this is on rails. It absolutely does not go to the hospital. It's like, we'll figure that out.
It goes,
I mean, it's a
it
historic
goes up.
funicular. That's that was going to be my question of like right now we're just trying to get out of the palace. The
Yeah,
funicular goes up, so it's entirely possible that the funicular goes over the wall from the inside out. But there is a question of the funicular, if it is attached to the crater wall, would be very useful for the next phase.
that's
That's what I'm
true.
saying.
Okay. I still want to fly up into the air shooting a gun.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
And,
All right.
and could the give yourself up move happen to distract people from Jane Doe so Jane Doe can get out,
Ooh.
right? Like
Uh-huh.
Jane Doe clearly has eyes on her now, so uh not Fix.
Hijack.
Hijack.
Hijack. Hijack could give himself up.
And the give yourself up here is almost like this is like a safety valve on the roll. So if you wanted
Hmm.
to roll kind of like straight off of this, you could see what is whatever that result is, you're going to be able to bump up by one. So if it's a failure, you can bump it up. Um,
I
yeah.
also hesitate to bring this up, except for the fact that it makes things even more messy. But didn't we have some sort of a role that guaranteed that the next phase was going to be even harder for us?
Yes,
We did.
this is in turmoil.
Hmm.
Let's look up exactly what
What the mechanical
that.
effect of said turmoil is.
Yeah. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, we add two complexity to this next objective. So excuse me.
That
Oh.
does change
The
things.
complexity is four because Stug Cabello is a step ahead of you all.
So that
Now
does
that
change.
pile of resources that we have looks a lot thinner.
It does. But you also have a crew member to give up.
That's true. We could make the worst roll in the world and we'll still get out with some complications.
Um,
And save the pile of stuff for uh
The
the
very
last.
last step.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
presumably it may be easier to scatter and gain assets once you're out of the crime palace itself,
Hmm.
narratively.
Where there are less employees of Stug
Right. Right now
completely
it's like
surrounding us.
collections, which is essentially like auditing
Hmm.
Yeah.
auditing jobs, and you all are a job right now. Which might be something to leverage, but is certainly dangerous. I think, yeah, that would be with disadvantage. Or you go right into
Hmm.
the heart of um uh the the crime syndicate's office complex where they are developing plans for how they achieve all of these jobs. And
Hmm.
that also feels like a very dangerous place for the target of one of these jobs to be going.
So
So,
if we use the holographic decoy to make one of the bodies look like Stug Cabello,
Hmm.
and Fix puts on fancy civilian clothes to make himself look like he just left this party, or like he looks like he works for Stug Cabello.
Hmm.
mhm,
We already know that Trip is fancy, so Trip's gonna fit right in.
mhm,
Hmm.
That's two assets. We'd be
mhm.
rolling at a -2, but we could do it.
Yeah.
Um, well, you have the ray gun too, right? That you're trying
Yeah,
to lean into.
if we wanted to save the ray gun, if we're trying to get
Oh,
out.
okay. Yeah, you could
Mm.
roll with the -2. I mean, that's almost guaranteeing a miss, but you've got Hijack willing to give himself up here.
Super nice
For
of
what
him.
it's worth, audience at home, Ben agreed to all of this.
Even if he says otherwise.
Yes, especially if he says otherwise.
Don't believe Ben's lies.
Please do not verify this with Ben. Um, yeah, that seems fun.
Yeah.
So we go with the medical emergency post-party plan. Some of us look like we were attending the party, and we've got the holographic fake Stug that we are trying to get out as a VIP.
Yeah. And I think Fix not I don't think Fix needs to dress up. Fix can be a doctor.
The only reason that we would dress up would be to give us one more asset. But you're right. If we are bound to lose anyway, we could keep that in reserve and just roll with only the holographic decoy.
A -3. I don't think,
Mhm.
is that ever happened? I love this idea. It's really terrible.
We are in turmoil, and I like leaning into really terrible.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, and for what it's worth, this is a pretty bad plan given the circumstances, but it just might work.
I think it justifies giving himself up too, right? Like if that's a thing that we're
Yeah, yeah,
doing,
yeah. Um,
I say we
yeah,
do it.
I like it. All right.
Let's go.
Let's roll at a -3. Um,
Devin, you roll really well. Why don't you roll this one?
Sure. -3, eh?
Come on,
mhm.
12s.
It's a 5.
It's close.
It's a 6 and a 2, -3. It's 5.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
At least you didn't
Um,
roll a one.
And then we use the give up, right? So then it's a
Mm-hmm.
mixed success. So then we're
But
good.
I think Mike gets to narrate what happens before we
Oh
use the give
yeah,
up
that's
move.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
um, I I kind of want to throw this all to you in the do it with style here. Instead of I mean, these are your signature moments in executing the plan, but I think that they're the signature failures in this particular situation, or the signature things that go terribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you're afraid. Not only afraid would not work about this plan, but does happen as two of you are posing as party guest slash doctor escorting the body of Stug Cabello out after this drizzle of bodies. And one of you flies into the air shooting a short range ray gun that clearly will not hit anyone because it is short range
Mm-hmm.
in a flurry of
Bat screeches.
vampiric madness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I spread out my new wings that were it used to be a cloak, now it's wings. And I take off up into the air, batting these wings like a bat,
These
screeching
metal
with
wings.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
screeching. It sounds like the sound of metal on metal when I bat screech. And I take Leland's gun and I'm shooting it in the air, just causing a big distraction in hopes that people won't pay as much attention to what's going on with the holographic decoy and the smoke bomb. Um, and as I do that, Gerald is circling me, and you can see the clouds starting to roll in from the upcoming storm. And people look up, and somebody yells, "Oh my God, a Terra Nors Machina!" And then suddenly there's all this panic on the ground, and people are running around and screaming and shooting guns in the air to try and get the Terra Nors Machina out of the sky. And it's just a lot of chaos right now.
And you even see Leland Zero running around in the madness because their job is to hunt down all of the Terranors. And so I think Leland has it is at least masquerading as one of the bounty hunters trying to down this Machina Terranors.
I keep trying to think of what's the worst thing that could go wrong while we're pretending to smuggle a corpse out as Stug, and I keep coming back to the idea that somebody actually needing medical aid approaches us that can't be ignored.
Hmm.
The actual Duke of the Universe.
Like you absolutely need to put this body down. The Duke needs your help. And we're called upon to actually stop and use our medical expertise like for real.
I'm not sure how this works. I assume that since my contact has been used here, I don't get to have it again in the future in another.
Narratively, you can. It just like mechanically does not have an effect. You've
Okay,
expended the mechanical effect, but narratively, like as and in these
perfect.
scenes, like the mechanical stuff has been resolved. So narrative, lean into it.
All right, perfect. I am going to try and use Glad Hand to bolster our case, and that puts suspicion on Glad Hand. and he gets like marched off in shackles and manacles. Like,
To
wait,
wherever
you
Velvet
know
Ashes is. Yeah.
Hmm.
clearly you are not trustworthy if you know these people, so you're going to be questioned. Well, well, that didn't work out the way I thought it would.
Yeah, just I was just picturing Fix just like wiping blood out of his eyes, going, "What?" Like not even following whatever Trip has been up to. Elbows deep in trying to patch somebody together,
Yeah.
an actual cyclone victim, the Duke of the Universe,
Who
trying
I
to get
would
champagne
suggest
glass
is not
shards out of them.
actually the Duke of the Universe, but Duke Universe, who is
Uh-huh.
sometimes likes it's sort of like one of those like smudging the name on the ID to make it look like, oh, this might be the Duke of the Universe rather than just Duke Universe. So gets treated as if he was the Duke of the Universe in many situations.
Love it.
Duke Universe
Love everything
sounds
about
like
it.
the name of a spaceball player.
Could be.
Maybe that's how this there are people who believe that Duke Universe should just be the Duke of the Universe because they are such an appreciator of his um, spaceball play.
Names are destiny.
Names are destiny. So,
Just ask Fix, who became a Fix Stitch.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
There's there's in this universe you cannot escape the power of your name.
Amid this chaos and the plan falling apart, we know that Hijack is observing all of this. And realizing this isn't going to work. How do we imagine Hijack giving himself up in this situation?
Hijack had direct communication with Stug, didn't he?
He
We
did.
hear. So probably a conversation through hijacked comms. No pun intended.
Ooh. And like Stug had like suggested that this is perhaps a game that he is playing with Hijack, without Hijack fully realizing. Hijack has been gambling over the entire
The
scenario.
outcome, right?
Um, so perhaps Hijack realizes that he's lost the game and is willing to, yeah, give himself up because of that. Um,
Maybe he's going full war games. The only way to win is not to play. And
mhm,
that's to
mhm.
remove yourself from the game board.
Um, so this is 7 to 9 then that this bumps the plan up to, which just means that there will be a complication in the next phase. Um, you all are feeling, you know that the plan is not your best work. That this probably should have never worked, but you were in a scramble, you were desperate, there were bodies falling from the heavens, and a uh, nefarious crime lord in your comms as you were figuring all of this. And it just does seem to work. It seems almost too easy. As you move through the gate and are just kind of like passed through, you are standing on the outside of the wall and you look back and you see Glad Hand and Velvet Ashes and Hijack being escorted into the collections area, where they are being booked and processed for crimes against the crime syndicate. That said, the alarms and sirens are still going off outside of the wall here. Whatever feels like it has been resolved inside, is still um, in full alarm here on the outside. Stud Caballo's game is concluded, but there's someone else who still has a desire to not let this crew get out, and perhaps has something to prove to Stud Caballo in returning the Helio Shroud itself. It's Boraran. Um, Jane Doe 2.0, you're the first person to see her standing on top of this 5-story tall wall of the palace, staring at you with the vibrant purple and orange sky in the background, and um, these triangular spires of the crime palace jutting up in the same way that Boraran's fangs jut down. And in that moment, she does a classic Marvel hero jump and this, power stomp. What's that called? And hits the ground and is smirking and staring you undead in the eyes.
I do a cool unfurling of my wings to make myself look big, like bears do,
Hmm.
um, to make myself look big and scary. And I say, I always knew it would come to this, Boron. You versus me. Terranor's fight.
And she is hurtling herself straight at you.
I'm going to withstand her onslaught and then spin it around judo style on her. Because I'm
Okay.
bigger and I'm metal, so I'm
Yeah.
heavier.
What's your objective in this situation? Are you
I want to fight her. I want to fight her.
okay?
Yeah.
Um, Roll an escalation with vitality here, or let's talk through it. What could go
Yeah.
wrong here?
Um, I might be misattributing how much vampire I am, and I might not be very good at being a vampire.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking what could go wrong here is that she is a better and stronger vampire than me. And it'll be really embarrassing if she kicks my ass.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, better. What if, because I have a human brain,
Mhm.
what if my brain is cloned from Bororon's brain by my creator? And what if she has the ability to take control of my brain because we're clones and she's a
Mhm.
vampire? That's worse.
Yeah, I like that. I think the way in which this will be worse than what you are processing, as you realize that you share a brain, um, is that Boruran's not aiming for you per se, but you and your Terranor's parasites have um, bonded in such a way that you cannot be separated without your Machina self deteriorating and becoming no more. And so she's just going to try and pull the Terranors out of you.
Oh no. All right. I feel like this is definitely a disadvantage then because I am Terranor's.
You are Terranors. Do you have
We're not
anything
good at
to?
planning for many things, but one thing that Fix is good at when it comes to plans is suggesting drug use. want to stick in a little flashback of getting slipped some Acceleroid Plus before this fight. If we knew that a fight was coming, that could be an option.
I think that's awesome. I want to be on Acceleroid Plus.
Michael, do you want to remind us how Acceleroid Plus works?
Sure, one of the supercharged items that Fix carries with him instead of a third kit item is a single dose of Acceleroid Plus. Now, once this drug is ingested, the affected crew member can roll any number of dice on a roll, whether it's collection, diversion, or in this case, escalation. Now, watch ticks apply as usual. So throw as many dice as you want to win the fight, but it could very well mean go time again for us immediately. But it might be worth it to see Boron get their head kicked in.
I only have 4
Uh-oh.
in my immediate vicinity. Give me a second. I'm gonna go grab some more dice. I'll be
That's
right
the
back.
spirit.
This is like when I do contest rolls and trophy. I always roll too many, so this is good.
It's what it's for.
All right, I've got a baggie of dice.
Now
Quite
we're talking.
literally a Ziploc baggie.
Close to 100 dice, it looks like.
There's probably about 15 in there. Me
Close enough.
We
close.
round up to the nearest 100.
Let's see. I'll get these ones, this one.
Fix how as this is getting worked through, like describe the handoff. I imagine it's something that you realize when you see Boruran at the top of the wall yourself, jumping down.
Yeah. I think that I think that he has to take a moment to set aside Duke Universe and perhaps pull off a bloodied sleeve in order to reach into a pocket and do a quick Jane, I feel like it may be the time to accelerate your natural potential. Just slip her a tiny little single ziplocked pill.
I take the
That
pill. I open the drawer that's in my chest that I have and I just put it inside there and close it up. I don't really eat, so
mhm.
You have a human brain.
yeah, that's how I digest things.
Oh, okay. It
Oh,
just
Don't
goes
worry about
straight
it.
to the brain through your
Yeah,
chest drawer.
yep.
That's good to
so,
know.
some sort of internal mechanism will wend it wherever it needs to go.
I have 10 dice.
All right.
Go get him.
I rolled 1 1,
Okay.
and I have 2 6s.
All right. Um, the threat is removed from action. The keeper decides how. I'm gonna let you decide how, though. Narrate this away, but you eliminate Boruran here.
I think, yeah, my eyes are glowing red with the power of the Acceleroid Plus. And as she barrels towards me, fangs glittering in the purple light, uh, and she smacks into me, but it's like hitting a brick wall with a big thud. I take her by the arms and I flip her over my head backwards. What's that called? A pile driver, but backwards. Yeah, it's cool. It's a really cool move. It looks really awesome.
Hmm.
Uh, and I slam her down into the ground. And I look down at her face and I say, maybe you're the one that's the clone. Maybe I'm the original. And I stare deeply into her eyes and I use my vampire powers to hold her still as my machina hands dig into her chest and pluck out, and it's very bloody and gross. I'm not going to get into the details, but it's gross. And pluck out the parasite and put it into my open drawer and close it back up.
Hmm. Um,
So I don't think I kill her, but she is very, very badly hurt and no longer a vampire.
I love it. Um,
And everyone
I,
saw.
because I think it's fun. This is a little bit of a complication. If you all want to push back against this, you tell me. But I think the camera pulls back from this, and we see Duke Universe, who is no stranger to Acceleroid Plus, being a professional spaceball player, just kind of reach his hand up and say, "That could have saved me," and passes away. Um, Speaking of death, um, we cut to inside the crime palace walls. Oh, Amanda, did you roll any twos?
I did. I rolled one, too.
Okay. In high risk situations, twos also count to advance the watch. So it will be go time, my friends. It's a good thing that you rolled low in that last situation. Um, but another piece here is that we cut to Stug Cabello coming out of the lift, marching his way towards the three captors, captives, Velvet Ash's Glad Hand and Hijack, and he passes by Leland Zero, and Leland Zero says, "I couldn't quite get her. I couldn't quite get that Terranor's." I'm really bad at the accent in a way that Devin is oppositely quite good at it. Um, and Stug Cabello, without even looking, says, "Yes, I anticipated that," and lifts up his own blaster and shoots Leland Zero right in the head. Um, and he collapses. Meanwhile, outside of the wall, Boruran is dead. You know you need to get out of Craterion City on the double. It's go time. We know that there are anti-aircraft guns that are aimed up to prevent things from coming in and perhaps getting out with valuable loot like the Helio Shroud. And we also know that you're at the base of a crater. How are we getting out of this, crew?
We have to leverage Dr. Quantum somehow, but I'm not sure how.
Dr. Quantum might be interested in a couple of souvenir kidneys from the body of Duke Universe, since Duke doesn't need them anymore.
Ooh,
Could use
We
that
got
by way
Dr.
of a
Quantum's bonus
reintroduction.
pinkies too,
Yeah.
Fix.
exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Because you'd given her some bonus pinkies, and if you give her some of these extra kidneys, she might shut down the anti-aircraft guns for us.
So
How
we're
does
looking
she have
for
access to the anti-aircraft guns as a celebrity surgeon? I'm not saying she doesn't. I'm just asking
Hmm.
a question.
Perhaps we give her Leland's ray gun and she just breaks in.
just convince her to turn to a life of a different crime. Who was already committed to a life of crime, but not one that involved drawing a gun on anti-aircraft operators. I don't know, that could burn a lot of goodwill for somebody who's got billboards up in the neighborhood and is pretty recognizable.
Mm-mm.
Do we want to just go through all of our remaining assets here?
Yeah.
See what comes together.
We know from Dr. Quantum that there's a lightning storm in the forecast, which we have still not seen hit quite yet. Um, Fix has given Dr. Quantum extra pinkies. And if
So she's more effective at surgery, was the idea.
whatever bonus pinkies might be helpful for, that is fine. We know that Trip is on the guest list for historic funicular reopening celebration. Um, we've seen Jane's vulture, unruly pet vulture, a few times, but it is not mechanically given benefit, so that is still available. We've got Leland's close range ray gun, and we have civilian clothes that are quite fancy.
Okay, hear me out. We dress Fix in the civilian clothes. So he doesn't, uh
Not
so
so
he's
bloodied anymore.
yeah. Um the lightning storm starts and it's like we got to get people out of this place because funiculars are notoriously finicky and a lightning storm might cause it to stop working. And so rich people and nobles first, which means I would be at the top of the list.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
halfway uh, uh, at some point, disguised Fix pulls out the lightning pistol and takes me hostage. That's how we get him on and Jane 2.0 on the funicular.
Okay.
The Vulture helps pull the funicular faster.
All right.
Oh, and you might be wondering, surely that vulture not strong enough to pull a funicular by itself. The grip strength on that vulture has got to be pretty bad. That's what those bonus pinkies are for.
So does that mean Fix is taking the bonus pinkies away from Dr. Quantum and adding them to Gerald the Vulture?
Listen,
I
I
think
said hear
it's
me out.
brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm open to notes. I'm open to notes.
it's super fun. Uh, I had an idea for a way to use the pinkies, maybe, which would be getting Dr. Quantum onto the funicular with us, with the idea that there is some sort of speed or geographic limiter on the funicular that normally could only be overcome by two different authorized people, or someone who's got an extra wide single hand
Oh.
with a extra pinky that they might be able to help unlock this thing for us to use it for high speed escape. So a funicular at unsafe speeds.
I like it.
Now we have to decide between Gerald having a whole bunch of pinkies and Gerald not having a whole bunch of pinkies.
Even with grip strength, you still have to consider like wing strength
Yeah.
to. I don't think grip was the only problem that they would have to overcome to help pull something the size of a train car.
And we can always give Gerald pinkies later narratively
Yeah,
if we
we can
wanted.
experiment with the vulture. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not taking that off the table. We'll go full Dr. Moreau, give it a voice box and a vote. Uh,
Maybe I pitched like to go to the Dr. Quantum thing. Like maybe this
yeah.
is the funicular was when there was an alien species, like whoever is indigenous to Z976.
Mm,
Maybe they had many fingers, so the operation does require much more endowed hands in order to operate. Yeah. So Dr. Quantum with extra pinkies will be able to like operate it because because of historically how it was designed to be operated.
yeah, I had forgotten that the funicular was being reopened. So presume this could be its first operation since the local population had been present and making use of it. It's been retrofitted for the current humanoid population.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's fun.
So we're just trying to decide on Gerald's role at this point.
It's possible that Gerald doesn't even have a role in this. Because if we leverage the lightning storm, because we talked about how we had to get the lightning because the lightning storm will make the funicular finicular finicky. There we go. Uh, then we can use those three, and it's only a complexity two, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
So we're at a +1.
Hmm.
It might be that the locals had designed the funicular to make use of the power source of local lightning storms if they were here
Mm.
with more regularity. Now, maybe their ability to manipulate meteorological phenomenon has been lost, but lucky for us, coincidentally, the timing is such that
I do like the idea of the storm being an excuse to like cut the line with a as a VIP. Um, that they anticipate that like not everyone who is in line for the funicular is going to be able to get through. So
mm,
as you arrive late to the reopening, like that's a way that you can kind of like push to the front. Is to Devin's suggestion of like
mhm.
um, women and rich people first.
And that means the fix can dress up as a woman
Sure,
or
In
a rich
order
people
to,
outfit.
yeah, then
or both.
take
Both.
Trip hostage
Hmm.
and
Ooh, I like the dramatic reveal of perhaps throwing
kick everyone
aside
else.
a
Oh, go
giant
ahead.
wig of curly blonde hair to stand revealed with the ray gun.
So at five, which is a
Take this
plus
manipulator to Cuba.
three,
I'm feeling good about it.
Let's
It's
do
way
it.
better than
let's
our last plan.
let's do it.
I'm not even sure why we need to hijack it if we actually have an operator and we have somebody who's rich enough to get on there. Are we just doing that for fun?
You need to get the
That's so
other
we're the
people
only ones.
off.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
get
we're
the
the
other
only ones
people
on it.
off.
Yeah.
Fair.
Because we don't want people coming with us. Uh, who's feeling brave enough to roll it? I'm
I
gonna tell Michael to do it.
was gonna say I think I'm the only person who hasn't rolled yet.
Yep.
So here comes the curse. Yeah, awful. That's a 4 and a 1 plus 3,
Three?
8. We made it into mixed territory.
Yeah. And this being the conclusion, you will pass. There's not a complication per se.
Hmm.
Um, I'd think of a rule of that. Maybe like watch starts at one tick or something like that for the next heist.
Mm.
But regardless, you are getting out of here. Let's do it with style. Everyone narrate your signature moment within this portion of the heist.
Um, I think I'll march straight to the front of the line, and if I'm given any hassle, I'll just be like, you know, I
You're
am.
definitely given hassle.
Oh, I'm definitely given hassle. Perfect. Then I'm just like, I am His Most August Excellency Lord Wootton Grandino Silver the Third. I was detained uh having a wonderful tete-a-tete with Duke Universe when suddenly he was thrown from his chair out the window. I barely escaped with my life. How dare you speak to me in such manner? And I'll start waving my hands around and like looking back at Fix, just like, and furthermore,
dumb idea that I had was Dr. Quantum like zipping up a dress on the back of Fix, and Fix like using some towel or something to turn the med pack into a baby. Ridiculous wig, and just running up with clear a path, my baby! I need to get out! Me and the rich person need to get out! And then throwing it aside and ripping the wig off and pointing a blaster at everybody and saying, women and children first? It's not a request.
And as the funicular starts to move up towards the crater, you see crouched on top the bat form of Jane Doe 2.0, claws dug into the roof of the funicular, just holding on for dear life.
You reach the top, you still hear the warning sirens, which have been confused with potentially like a dangerous storm sirens. Whatever the case, you are out of Craterion City. Um, and you walk some distance through the surrounding wasteland above the crater to where you have stored your ship. And as you walk up, the steps drop down, um, and you see the clone of Leland Zero step down and ask you all where you've been for so long. We need to take down Stug Cabello and his crime palace. I've been waiting here. And thus ends Stug Cabello's crime palace. Let's go to end of heist. Bum 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 bum.
Before we fully end the heist, can I
Yes.
do a Bridge the Void?
Oh, yeah, for sure. As we like head into that moment. So this is where do you want this to happen? Is this after you've gotten to the ship? Is this like as you're like walking through the sort of like wastelands above the crater?
I think this
Yeah.
is after we've taken off and have successfully escaped the area of what's the planet called? Z something? Z249?
Z976, Z976, yeah.
Z, yeah. Oh, that's Z. Weird. No, I'm kidding. Um, yeah, I think it's when we've fully escaped the orbit of the planet. We've gotten away. So that's not a
Cool.
threat anymore.
This is our first Bridge the Void move. So let's read that so that everyone knows how it works. Two or more player characters can establish a scene where they reflect on their heist campaign. During the conversation, any character who connects the topic at hand to a revealed bona fide may choose one of the following. So if you have revealed a bona fide, check those. You may refresh a bond. You may, which won't be relevant here, remove a condition, or generate a campaign hit, which would be a evidence of the galactic overlord or a transmission from the lost sun in this case. Bridge the Void unlocks for a character once they've revealed their first bona fide. A bona fide can only be connected for an effect once. Each character may only gain the effect of Bridge the Void once per heist. We center the conversation on one of 6 bridges, or you may suggest your own. Amanda, as opposed to, well, I'll just read them for the sake here. The 6 bridges: the Citizen, a side character in this heist; the Globe, a planet or location in this heist; the Wax, a successful job; the Wane, a failed job; the Echo, something that no longer exists; or the Master, a sign of the galactic overlord. Amanda, what do you want to center this conversation on? And who are you conversing with? I mean,
I
it
would
could
like
be
to
the
have
whole
a
crew.
conversation with Fix, and I want to talk about Bororan. So character. And I think, yeah, I go to Fix in Fix's, I don't know, I imagine you have like a lab where you do your weird experiments.
Sure. Hmm.
And I go up to you and very big and batty now. And Fix, may I ask for your assistance?
Like turns away from a little sink, and you see he's been holding like a laser tongue scraper. Is uh, one second. Sure. What can I help you with?
I'm thinking that perhaps being Terranors is not as useful as I originally thought. That whole experience with Bororon, well, I've kind of peaked as a Terranors, and
I
I'm wondering
see.
if you could perhaps take these parasites out of me. Without destroying me, of course.
That is the question. I was going to say, technically, taking them out, not a problem at all. The problem would be the extent to which they have bonded with your new metallic form. Most of the studies of Terranors that have been done to date have been about the effect on biological individuals, same with the body of literature that exists for removing them. But you are something unique that I don't believe this universe has seen before. We would be breaking new ground if we were to try and safely remove, or perhaps even unsafely remove these Theranors from you. Uh, how attached are you to your current mobility or access to your memories? Are these, would you say, high priority for you to keep, medium, low priority?
Medium.
Excellent. We can work with medium. Let me take a look at my calendar. We'll see where we can fit you in. Are you insured?
Does the
I'm
association have insurance?
I'm joking, of course. We make more than enough from these heists to be able to cover our experiments. It's just a little bit of fixed itch humor.
Ah, well, Terranors don't have much of a sense of humor. Perhaps
Will
once these parasites are removed, I will laugh then.
excellent, yes. So one excisement, one implantation of a sense of humor. All possible.
So what I'm hoping to do is what I'm hoping to do is get rid of the Terranors condition
Hmm.
and go back to being normal Jane Doe 2.0. It's been fun, but
It's a turning point.
Are we on to Jane Doe 3.0?
ooh, maybe.
2.5 at least.
I'm going to change my name to 2.5 if this is successful. Do I have to make a roll to see how successful it is?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So you are choosing to remove the condition Terranors here. Ba, 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 ba. And Michael, you don't have a revealed bona fide yet, is that?
Yeah, well, they were revealed with the previous playbook, so
Oh, that's right.
none revealed here.
All right. End of heist then, eh? Okay. Da-da-da-da. I should have pulled that up, but it's easy enough. Okay, so first, we'll meet again. After concluding the narrative of the heist, but before any other tasks, roll a d6 for each heist the crew has completed and for each nemesis declared.
Hmm.
We have completed 3 heists now, and we have declared 2 nemeses. Gizmel de Bloom and Eliza Hemlock. So we need to roll 5d6. And if a 1 is rolled and the crew has at least 1 nemesis, so we meet again, will be triggered. Who
Devin,
wants
you're
to?
our luckiest roller. Do you have enough die?
Let me just get some more dice.
I can bring you my baggie if you want it.
No, I just flashed my bag. That's five, you say?
Yep.
Hmm. And just take out any of the ones that have ones on them.
You
Yes.
got it. Well, I have 0 1s. I have threes, fours, and a two.
Okay. So you will not have to engage in a space battle with your nemesis, or get to, before the next heist. Let's talk through experience gains, the end of heist questions. Each character gains 1 experience point when they answer yes to these questions. For individual characters, did you bridge the void? Two of you did.
Yes.
Second question. Well, let's go like character by character, I guess. We'll start with
Mm.
Jane Doe 2.5. Did your past give you an edge?
Not my near past. Like being a Terranors gave me an edge, but I don't. Oh, my past with Boraran,
The cloned brain.
my clone brain situation gave me an edge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, so take a point there. Um, and then did you have a failure that was accepted? I think everyone, or most people, or some people did. Did a failure remind you of the Lambeth deal?
No.
We'd have to we'd have to remember what the failure is too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Trip. Did your past give you an edge? Yes. Yeah. Um, did a failure did a failure remind you of the Lambeth deal? If you can remember a fail.
I know I failed. I don't know what it was. Uh, and if I had no, now I know for the future I will have to keep track of when I fail. And I also don't know what the Lambeth deal is because this is only my third game. So
Oh, yes. And you missed the introduction. The Lambeth deal, think of it as, and this is for anyone who's jumping on with Stuggabeo's Crime Palace as well. The Lambeth deal is essentially, think of like what went on in Star Wars between like Rogue One and the end of A New Hope. That it's essentially like this big association of all these people who want to overthrow the Galactic Overlord. Um, are pulling together resources in this big orchestrated plot that has all of these like interdependencies of things, and the Lambeth deal is the execution of that. And the Lambeth deal failed. That's what we know as an audience at this point. We don't know how it failed, but we know that like it did not work because the Ghost Emperor is still in charge. And you all have your crew is one of these like resurgent crews that has been reconnected by the association, which is rebuilding. So the reason that you are doing all of these heists is because the association is trying to regain resources and to be able to stage another attempt at overthrowing the Galactic Overlord. Um, so that's something, the Lambeth deal is something that as players, you're sort of like revealing the history of like how this developed over the course of the campaign. That is something that is the past, the lore, the history there is in your hands, as you, as characters or people, characters who know other characters who are involved in the Lambeth deal, can kind of narrate why did this thing fail, or maybe it was successful in places. What did it look like? So if you also look at, for what it's worth, the campaign sheet, you'll see that there are also crew bona fides, bona fides of the clandestine courtship, and that is, with this particular crew, you can pick different crews. You are the startups, so you are all kind of like fresh into the association. So those bona fides are essentially like how, after the Lambeth deal, the association is picking up new recruits for this mission. But yeah, that's the rough summary of the Lambeth deal for what it is worth.
thank you.
Uh-huh. Fix, did your past give you an edge?
I mean, having a medical background certainly helped out when it came to finding common ground with Dr. Quantum. Oh, and at one point we had made reference to the fact that one of Fix's early jobs involved coming to the crime palace and
Yep.
delivering an organ, which
Yeah.
meant he was confident roaming around in the back areas.
Yep. I will give you that. Um, did a failure remind you of the Lambeth deal?
If I am free to just make stuff up, I can absolutely do that. Because the failure that I remember was getting smacked so hard that I lost an eye.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so I would
And
say
that
that,
is, for what it is worth, like that is the point of this
yeah,
particular question is for you to be able to add more narrative and backstory in.
yeah. I don't know specifically what younger Fix, who was maybe even pre curator at that point, was what their role was in the Lambeth deal, but I think at some point they got picked up and spent weeks in detention blindfolded. And so spent long periods of time not having access to their site and memorizing their tormentors by the sounds of their gait and footsteps. So I think that there's always a part of lead that or the of lead Fixstar that is listening for a particular shuffle step of one of the people that tortured him while he was captured in the fallout of the Lambeth deal.
Cool. Take an experience point for sharing that with the audience. Um, slash us. Um, for the full crew, did you escape with the loot? Yes, everybody gets one on that. And final question here. Are you pursued by a new nemesis? Ooh. So we have the option of increasing the risk of having to engage in a space battle by declaring someone who is now our nemesis.
I don't know what y'all feel, but I I am significantly lower in experience than you, so I would love an extra point of experience. But
I mean, I did say that I didn't kill Bororan. I just hurt her a lot and took all of her parasites out.
And a nemesis that you maybe have a cloned brain in common with is pretty interesting. Because
this
my
is pretty
idea was the nemesis is every fan of the Spaceball team that Duke Universe used to play on. There's just a contingent of people with his team's jersey that will always be on the lookout for us
The
for
Duke
letting
Universe fan club.
Duke Universe die.
Oh, that's good though.
We would have to come up with their Spaceball team and jersey designs so that we could always live in fear of seeing that logo splashed across the front of someone's shirt. So considering that, Boron feels like a much cleaner choice.
yeah. I love the idea of a baseball team fan club hating us.
Baseball, yeah.
Spaceball, sorry. That's what
Uh-huh.
I said. Um, uh, but but yeah, a former vampire with your cloned brain is too rad not to do.
All
All
right, let's do
right.
it.
We'll add Bor Aran to the list of nemesis, joining Gizamel de Bloom, renovator of space shuttles, and Eliza Hemlock, the Grand Countess of Blood, and a still Terranors, as far as we know, who for what it's worth, Trip, so that you know, this crew hastened the destruction of uh, the entire Terranor's civilization. Um, so she has plenty of reason to be a nemesis.
Also took her bone cane.
Yeah, you do. Who knows where that bone cane is? It's in a pocket dimension
Yeah.
somewhere. Um, and Boraron now. So that is where we at. That is the end of Heist. Um, I'm thinking through it. Given the time, I might just say we kind of wrap there for today. Um, because I think we'll just get through an overture, which is giving Bond dice. So it's probably fair enough to like if, yeah, we're going to have a bigger crew to make sure that everybody gets the Bond dice. Um, so just kind of, and this is, I think, primarily for Devin, but just as a reminder for everyone, as far as character advancement, you get to shop off of a list that is here. I will send the link via the chat here. But you can choose to shuffle around in cargo, which is 2 experience points and adds 1 exploit to your personal kit list. So you get to pick something from this heist that you want to keep and use in the future for 2 experience points. Quarters will add 1 new bona fide to your list if you're getting short on bona fides, or if you just want to add a new dimension to that. That's 3 experience points. Medbay is just the quick and easy way to remove a condition. That's 3 experience points. Or you can use 5 experience points to train, and that gives you +1 to a stat up to +3. So you don't need to decide that now, but just decide between now and our next session. The other thing, I don't know. Maybe I'll just decide this right now. Ship upgrade. The crew may choose to abscond with the loot for themselves or turn it in for payment. If they run with what they've stolen, they can add it to their standard kit list. The heist sponsor becomes a nemesis in this case. Are we keeping the Helio Shroud for ourselves, or are we giving it back to Princess Dash and upgrading our ship?
What does it do again?
It is the power of a sun within a cloak.
And I think that's cool to keep.
Not really
You
a
If Trip,
betray
cloak
your
guy.
dear friend, Princess Dash.
if Trip is asked, he'll be like, a princess. We're gonna we will go and be in the company of a princess, possibly have a meal worthy of, well, me. I
But you see the Helio Shroud glimmering with all of its brightness.
I'm going to leave this decision up to Trip because Trip is the one most familiar with royalty and how royalty would react to us keeping it. I think I'm busy being deparasitized.
Do royals hold grudges?
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I think politically Trip would say let's give this to the person who it rightfully belongs to. And yeah, I
Got
think
it.
he doesn't make waves at this point.
Yeah. So then you are able to pick a new ship upgrade from the list of ship upgrades. What do we
Wormhole,
think?
wormhole, wormhole, wormhole.
I think that the decision has been made. Do we already have a wormhole?
I think you already got the wormhole generator. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, clearly other people are this is
We're
Trip is
all
so excited when he's like, "We're gonna be able to get a wormhole generator finally!" And somebody fix maybe is like taps the wormhole generator and it opens up a wormhole and then taps it off and it.
maybe we have to like move the table that has all the unread dossiers
Oh, that's
for
right.
this
Yeah.
job because it's blocking the sign that says wormhole generator on the wall. She's like, well, we don't need this junk anymore.
You've stuck like a piece of masking tape and written like wormhole generator on it
Hmm.
to label the button.
How about a spacewalk tether?
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
Spacewalk tether,
let's do it.
add it to your list of ship upgrades. So your ship is outfitted with a brand new Triangle Y electric rotator engine, which is fast but flighty. The biggest mechanical arm you've ever seen, a wormhole generator, and a spacewalk tether, long range. Um, and so we are all outfitted for our next heist.
Is it possible to spacewalk further out than the mechanical arm can reach?
That is for the future to know. Um, let's do stars and wishes for the session.
Um, Stars for everyone being cool about Ben and Jack not being able to be here with us. It's really great to have Devin on board so that we can still play when people's lives become lifing at them. Lifing is a word. Stars to Mike for rolling with our terrible plans and helping make them even more terrible. That was very, very great. Michael, I really liked the idea that the thing you threw in about the pinkies making an extended hand. I still like the idea of putting pinkies on Gerald. I think that would be cool. We should do that. And Devin, as always, you're very impressive with your accent, but I think I really have to throw some stars at your Leland impression was really good.
Mm-hmm,
That was
mm-hmm.
really, really good. Wishes. I wish to do some ship stuff. I want to do a ship battle.
I was a little disappointed that it didn't pop up. Yeah,
Next
it
time.
should be popping. You got an extra 2 dice next session or next heist.
Stars to Michael Van Vliet. At the end of session, it was a throwaway joke that I liked very much about the laser tongue scraper. Um, your ability to do callbacks and remember things like that are very impressive to me, and that was great. Amanda, the image of Jane Doe 2.0 crouched on top of the funicular trying to hide like a bat.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I liked a lot. Um, Mike just letting us do a bad plan that we knew would be bad, and then just being like, well, I mean, listen, if we're gonna use the mechanic of give yourself up, it might as well be for a good reason.
Hmm.
So that's good. My wish is to see how angry Gladhand is when we break
Hijack out.
a jack out.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. Like we've got a number of side characters that are also in jail with hijack.
Uh, yeah, big stars, Mike, for rolling with our terrible ideas and somehow making them better by pointing out that Stug could be planning on us making terrible moves. That, in fact, the fact that we got out so easy with such a terrible plan probably means we were released on purpose, which I love that makes it feel sinister. Kind of a flip side wish that leads into is, gosh, it would be nice to feel more competent as a crew. It's fun to be a bunch of goofs, but I think we are supposed to be good at this as well. We do get our little highlight moments, but we were leaning awfully cartoony. So for some balance, I'll put in a wish for seeing us actually be smooth, suave criminals. We are new. It's the note. Yeah, relatively young crew. Um, stars for having a vampire fight. That was pretty awesome. And drug fueled. So stars for a Ziploc full of dice. That was absolutely delightful. Uh, star for Trip having an even nicer bag. Uh, for Devin having the fancier bag of all those dice. Really loved the I'm too rich to be here move. I love those moments. Love seeing him come up, throwing your weight around. Also, the enthusiastic answer to Royals hold grudges is a great moment. Could not have heard a stronger yes. Yeah, there was a lot of good moments, and even the ideas that we didn't use. A vulture with extra pinkies is that's a horrifying image that even if we didn't use it, is going to stay with me. I have to find a way to bring that back. Yeah, a lot of good moments in a short period of time. Oh, also star just for Duke Universe for taking a throwaway joke and turning it into a poignant moment. Gone too soon. Uh, rest in power, Duke Universe. We hardly knew you.
Yeah, I think my wish is going to be to figure out how to work in the sport that you know as spaceball. Um, which I think might just be like the sports of space, like oh, or sports ball.
Mm,
Like it's the sort of like condescending way to refer to whatever is the actual
hmm
um activity. Um but
Yeah, because
yeah,
Duke Universe could play like space lacrosse. We don't know, right?
hmm
right. So yeah, like I wish that I remember Duke Universe.
Stick a pin
Never
in him.
forget Duke Universe, and bring him back. Um, yeah, Star, this was a fun session. This is like the end of the heist. It's just a lot of chaos, and you all like leaning into that. Even the idea of like let's just go low with this, or roll low with this was fun.
Hmm
I do need to think through like as a little bit of like a playtest note. I think the way execute a plan resolves is geared a little bit more towards the beginning of the heist, the initial phases, and these last phases. Like I think the actual rules, if we did go through the consequences, I'd need to figure that out. Is what is it? How do you make it a little bit more tense when you get to these final two phases, these final two obstacles?
mm
Um, but I think that it worked really well here. I think there would have been some question floating. I think I've swung it. It was more oriented towards the end. I swung it more towards the beginning. I gotta find that just like right tuning for the resolution there in the middle. Um, but yeah, stars for everyone, like leaning into the chaos. A lot of the fun like callbacks of Glad Hand, of digging into what does it mean to have this brain, like cloned brain, all of that kind of thing. Um, um, and yeah,
Oh,
that
one last
is
star for
what.
shooting Leland in the head.
Oh,
We all wanted it to happen.
which may just be a thing that I do. Whenever there is a clone available, it gives me free reign to just kill a character.
Hmm Feels
And
good,
that,
right?
yeah, it's nice. Especially for a character like Stud Cabello, who is always threatening to just shoot someone right out. It's nice to be able to give him that sinister touch. Um,
Oh, and this is,
yeah.
I mean, this is a star from a previous thing, but I loved all the consequences of happening that happened with the people getting blown out the windows by the cyclone and the ideas of like raining bodies. That's horrifying. That is absolutely disgusting and terrible. And I really liked it.
That's one that I had totally forgotten about until, and like that's the fun of these games, right? Until I think it was Devin like started talking through the sort of like, oh, we're coming from this party. And I was like, was there a party going on? Oh yeah, there was a party going on up there. yeah, it's that emergent narrative side of a random idea you have and thinking about how it anchors into the world that you're building. Um, yeah, has a lot of those like surprise moments that pop out. And I think that that's, I think my final star is just that, like, I think like a lot of these like side characters, like we're sort of like developing they are along the story with us. Boraran and even Velvet Ashes and Gladhand and Dr. Quantum and Stug Cabello has history with Fix as well as now like that's more tied in. Like it really feels like that narrative, like the epic narrative of this is like building up as we go through the campaign. And that's something that that's why we're doing the campaign play test is to see how even though you have all of these individual isolated heists, are you going to get enough of that like continuing narrative built in? And that's partly what the nemesis are trying to do. But I think even without those, we're getting a lot of that seeded through. So, star to you all for helping build this world and helping build the journey of these characters. Um, before we go, one final thing. Um, you I think as the Terranor's removal, transplant, whatever is going on, Fix, you are kind of shuffling through the lab, um, and you find something odd, something that you didn't put into the laboratory, but happens to be here. Um, and it's actually two things. Um, it's two canisters, and you pick them up and you're holding them and staring at them, looking at them um, back and forth. Um, they have timestamps that are about 6 years apart, and each canister has an identical human heart inside. As the camera looks at you peering at these two weird canisters, it cuts to the top of the crime palace, Stug Cabello's suite, the black tile, the circular couch. We see on one side of Stug Cabello sitting on one of these couches in front of a hanging spherical fireplace and a television monitor. We see the body of Leland Zero on one side, and we see the body of Duke Universe on the other side, and maybe even Trunga Tort lying in the back somewhere by the other display cabinets. And what we see on the screen is these two canisters with the human hearts, because Stug Cabello is still looking through your spy eye. Planet Raygun appears on the screen, and then the credits start to roll. And that's where we're at. Wave goodbye to everyone at home.